From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah. I am beautiful.
And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
And host Frank Nicotero.
I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Oh! Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Who is there for heroes or the families left behind when a service member or first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless veterans? And who helps our nation to never forget 9/11? Let me tell you who. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The foundation's Gold Star, Fallen First Responder, Smart Home, and Homeless Veteran programs comprise their In the Line of Duty programs. They're all dedicated to honoring our nation's heroes and their families. The foundation's Never Forget programs engage people in 9/11 remembrance across America. Over 80 runs, walks, and climbs a year, dozens of golf outings, and the Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute is educating kids in kindergarten through 12th grade to help our nation keep its vow to never forget. More than 95 cents of every dollar you donate to Tunnel to Towers goes to its programs. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. All righty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this almost Friday, Thursday Race Day show, coming to you live and direct from the gaming capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, right here at the South Point Studios at the South Point Hotel and Casino Complex on Las Vegas Boulevard. We are coming to you live over YouTube and the South Point Studios streaming network. We welcome you to the show. We ask, of course, if you haven't tried this yet, to try it. Just go to YouTube and type in South Point Studios. You'll get to the page, and you'll click the page, and all of a sudden you'll get us live in person, and of course archived as well. By the way, on that website as well, you can see and hear us right there at the South Point Studios spot on YouTube, and of course our simulcasting on many different platforms that we have. Our network that includes our radio station here in town, the anchor radio station here, Sports Talk 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. Our websites at racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global. iPhones and Androids with the apps that you can get at your app store for your devices. The KSHP app will get you that so you can hear us through the radio station. And, of course, the YouTube app you can get to see and listen to us on YouTube. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting. So simply put, however, wherever, whenever, welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this almost Friday, Thursday. And we are starting to get excited now because 1 week from today we'll be doing our special Kentucky Derby show on YouTube only. It's only on the South Point Studios YouTube feed, and that'll be next Thursday, 1 week from today at 3 p.m., featuring Jonathan Hardoon, John Lendo, and a few other handicapping guests that we'll have on the show. And, of course, we'll be talking about that the next day's big races at Churchill Downs, the Kentucky Oaks Day card, plus preview the Kentucky Derby. That'll happen at 3 p.m. Pacific time here on the YouTube network at South Point. And, of course, the next day we'll have the Kentucky Derby seminar in the Grandview Lounge here adjacent to the racebook at the South Point, following the Kentucky Oaks and the Southern California races. It'll start around 6 o'clock in the evening. The Kentucky Derby viewing party will be the next day in the big ballroom upstairs, featuring, of course, a hat contest as well, food and drink specials, and a bank of great betting windows, kiosks as well, etc. So it all starts next week, 1 week from today, on the 3 p.m. show for simulcasting only on the YouTube network here. And we'll roll right through all of that stuff, and it's all free of charge to you. We want you to come out and enjoy and celebrate America's most famous horse race, the Run for the Roses, with us here starting Thursday, right here at the South Point. By the way, it starts every day here, really, right here. It starts every Wednesday through Friday morning at 7 a.m. here at the South Point Studios. All righty. So, as you can see, we have 10 days left to go until the Kentucky Derby. And, of course, 1 week from today, the special Derby Oaks show here. Talking about the Kentucky Derby and Churchill Downs. Now, Churchill Downs will open on Saturday. It'll have a twilight post time, 3 o'clock our time, but it's a twilight post time back east. They're going to draw for the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks cards on Saturday at Churchill Downs. And so we'll have the fields and the post positions and all that by Sunday morning for the Kentucky Derby, which, of course, will be held a week from Saturday. And also at Churchill Downs, a big week coming up, because on Thursday, which now they term as a Thurby Day, they call it Thurby Day there. So on that Thurby Day, a week from today, they'll have 3 stakes races at Churchill Downs. The following day, on Kentucky Oaks Day, not only will they have the Kentucky Oaks, but they'll have 6 other stakes races, 7 stakes races, on Friday, a week from tomorrow, Kentucky Oaks Day. And then on Kentucky Derby Day, they're going to have 9 stakes races. That includes the Kentucky Derby. So there'll be horses currently in training right now, horses that are currently in training in all those divisions, those top stakes horses. They'll be converging at Churchill Downs. So we're going to have a good time handicapping not only the Derby and the Oaks, but certainly all those stakes races as well with our handicappers. That's for sure. All righty. Muth, the Arkansas Derby winner, trained by Bob Baffert. They've been going back and forth, of course, appeals and all that, and rulings. Finally, yesterday, late in the day, the appeal to try to get Muth into the Kentucky Derby, that final gasp appeal, was denied in the Kentucky courts. So there you have it. There it is. Muth will not be going in the Kentucky Derby. But who knows if he might show up for the Preakness Stakes. We'll wait and see about that. Anyhow, that was decided in the appeals court yesterday. All righty. Looking at the weather here in Las Vegas, if you're planning on coming up this weekend in Vegas, right now it's a little bit chillier outside than it was yesterday. Right now it's 59 degrees out. We're going to get up to 80 degrees, though, today. But the weather is going to be changing further on this evening. And so tomorrow, on Friday, we are expecting some showers through the area, but that's going to come. It's going to go in and out of the area real quick, and we're going to get up to only 67 degrees tomorrow because of the showers coming in. But then on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday we'll have a high of 78, Sunday a high of 82. So that's just going to pass through real quick, and we'll wait and see how that plays out in Southern California, because the jet stream goes from the west to the east. So we'll wait and see if anything might be happening there as far as the weather is concerned. But as far as temperatures, you got Miami 81, you got New York at 55, LA is at 66, and right now, really no bad weather, extensive bad weather to talk about anywhere in the country. Maybe a little bit over Arkansas for Oaklawn Park. Well, so we'll wait and see about that. So we'll wait and see how that works out for the rest of the week. All right, let's take a look at what happened yesterday with our handicappers, who have been a little bit in the iceberg here for a while, but they're warming up now. John Lendo's horse got scratched. Rich Eng's horse failed to fire, so the short price, instead of a long face, became a short price and a long face as well. But Jonathan Ardoon had one of his picks win. The Keeneland horse ran out, but his horse at Tampa Bay went gate to wire on the turf in the last race, My Great Illusion, and that horse paid $11.60 for a $2 win bet. So Jonathan gets off the schneid with a nice wire-to-wire winner in the 9th and final at Tampa Bay, $11.60 for that score. And Richie, the old saying is right church, wrong pew sort of thing. Well, Richie thought that, of course, his philosophy in picking the horse in the first race yesterday at Keeneland was it was the first horse that Keith Asmussen was going to ride at Keeneland. He shipped now to Keeneland for the last couple of days there at Keeneland before going on to Kentucky from Oak Lawn Park. And so his father had a horse in the first race, was the favorite in the race. And so Richie thought that he was going to try to get his son Keith off on the right step and give him a really good horse in the first race. Well, that philosophy had a good intent, but it didn't work out because the horse never really fired and backed up through the field. However, as I said, he was in the right church, but the wrong pew, because in the second race, Steve Asmussen had a horse in that one. His son, Keith, rode it, and yes, you guessed it, that horse won and paid $21.72. So almost a bullseye there, but not quite. Big, giant, gargantuan payoffs in the pick fives yesterday at Keeneland. First pick five, winning horses paid $26.08, $21.72, $17.22, $55.74, capped it off with $14.70. Yeah. The winning numbers, 4, 9, 3, 2, 7. The 50-cent pick five paid $252,758.26. The consolation fours of five paid $606.13. Monster payoff in the early pick five at Keeneland yesterday. And if that monster payoff didn't happen in the first five races at Keeneland yesterday, the late pick five would have stood as a monster payoff yesterday. In the late pick five, again with the $55.74 winner and $14.70 that capped off the early pick five and started out the first two races in the late pick five, coupled with $11.26, $5.56, and $27.76. The winning numbers there, 2-7, 9, 2, 6. How about the 50-cent pick five, the late one there at Keeneland, paying $47,697.57. That consolation of 4 out of 5 paid $267 and change, 21 cents to be exact. Two monster pick five payoffs yesterday. It was bombs away yesterday at Keeneland. Nobody had the pick six. You got a 2-day carryover in the pick six, a nice one today at Keeneland. 5 out of 6 paid $7,664.63. And all I can say, it was a good day for long shots yesterday at Keeneland, that's for sure. And as we said at Tampa Bay, of course, Jonathan Ardoon's horse wire to wire there. All right, we got Jonathan Ardoon standing by. Rich Eng will be along with us. Richie's got an update on the Kentucky Derby Advanced Edition of the Daily Racing Form that's going to hit the stands on Tuesday. He's got an update on that. And, of course, we have John Lindo with us because we are racing at Keeneland today. And we got Jerry J's picks from Aqueduct. Jerry will be back with us on Saturday morning. In the meantime, let's go to our first break.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
All righty, back on Race Day Las Vegas, reminding all of you out there that we're here Wednesday through Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. Pacific time, setting up the day of racing, covering this great Sport of Kings Las Vegas style. I'm going to give you some of the latest workouts now, that, and this is courtesy, of course, of the Horse Racing Nation website. They do a great job there. But there were, on Sunday, Track Phantom went 5 furlongs in 1 minute, 1 minute, 0.8100 seconds. Deterministic went 5 furlongs in 102.6. That was on Saturday. Sierra Leone, he worked out 4 furlongs in 48.8. Catching Freedom went, I believe, worked 5 furlongs in 1 minute, 0.8. It was the 20th fastest work of 71 works that morning. Dornoch, he traveled 4 furlongs in 48.2. Mystic Dan went 5 furlongs in 59.4. That was a good workout. Just a Touch went 4 furlongs in 48.2. Domestic Product traveled 4 furlongs in 48.4. Just Steel worked a mile. Just Steel worked a mile at Churchill Downs in 1 minute, 40 seconds flat. Of course, that's for trainer D. Wayne Lucas. Stronghold worked in, he's worked in 46.6 for 4 furlongs at Santa Anita. Now, remember, he's shipping over to Churchill Downs to get his final work in there, the Santa Anita Derby winner. But both 46.6 was a really nice workout. Endlessly went 1 minute, 0.8, and Society Man worked 4 furlongs in 48.2. Common Defense worked 4 furlongs in 49.4. And on Friday, of course, you heard about Fierceness workout in 1 minute and 5 at Palm Meadows. West Saratoga traveled 6 furlongs in 116.2. Catalytic went 5 furlongs in 1 minute, 0.7. And back on Thursday, that was a week ago, Resilience worked 50.2. Epic Ride worked 48.2. And those are the latest workouts. One more serious workout for all of the participants for the Kentucky Derby yet to come. They'll probably be doing it either tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday to wrap up the serious works on their way to the Kentucky Derby 1 week from Saturday. All right, let's go to the racing menu for today, reminding you that the first post times we broadcast on the show each and every day reflect out of the Pacific time zone. So if you're listening here in Las Vegas, these will be the first post times that roll out in our racebooks today, especially here at the South Point in the racebook here. We are in the Pacific time zone. If you're listening anywhere else on the many different platforms that we have in different time zones, adjust to the Pacific time zone from the one you're in, and you'll get it right. Don't want you to miss anything like I miss Mom and Dad. Okay, here we go. Here's the racing menu for today. A big one at Keeneland. Keeneland's first post time is 10 a.m. 10 a.m. today. They don't have any stakes races, but they got good competitive races, 9 of them today at Keeneland. And why do I say that? Because they have a traditional regular pick 6 carryover at Keeneland, a 2-day pick 6 carryover at Keeneland, standing at $286,380. $286,380 in a 2-day pick 6 carryover. Traditional pick 6, not a jackpot. And I do want to remind you that if it isn't hit today, tomorrow is closing day at Keeneland, which means it's going to be a mandatory payoff tomorrow. But for today, that's the 2-day carryover. First post time at Keeneland is 10 a.m. with 9 races on the card. The pick 6 will start in the third race today at Keeneland. Third race at Keeneland is the pick 6. First post time, 10 a.m. at Keeneland. All right, Gulfstream Park is next. They have 8 races. Their first post time is 10:10. Their Rainbow Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $267,185. And their carryover at Gulfstream, first post time is at 10:10. Then we go to Aqueduct today. Now, we don't have any carryovers at Aqueduct, but we do have racing there today. 8 races, first post time 10:20. The track is fast. They say it's partly clouded with 48 degrees this morning. By post time, they say it's going to be 52 and sunny at Aqueduct today. First post time, 8 races, 10:20. Then we go to Horseshoe, Indianapolis. They got 10 races there today. 10 races, 8 thoroughbred races. The last 2 races will be quarter horses. And a first post time of Horseshoe, Indianapolis is set at 11:10. 11:10, first post time at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Turf Paradise, Phoenix, Arizona. Their first post time is 1:25. Their first 2 races will be quarter horses. One will be a stakes race for 2-year-olds, and the other one a futurity for 2-year-olds. And then races 3 through 9 will be thoroughbreds, 9 races overall. Their pick 6 jackpot carryover, the highest in the nation, stands at $572,763 today at Turf Paradise. First post time is 1:25 there. Wow. Evangeline Downs, they've got 8 races. Their first post time is 3:30. And Charlestown Races wraps it up. Charlestown has a pick 6 jackpot carryover, $6,519. 8 races and a first post time at Charlestown is at 4 p.m. And that is your racing menu for today. Wow, big bucks going on. A carryover at Turf Paradise with a jackpot there. Gulfstream's got a big jackpot carryover, and of course Keeneland's carryover, just a regular one, not a jackpot. So we got this is could be Jackpot Thursday. Let's make this carryover, monster carryover Thursday. How about that? Jonathan Ardoon, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
They're almost meeting your pay scale there, Jonathan.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
By the way, some news coming out. Resilience looks like Junior Alvarado is going to get the mount. There was no jockey named yet, and Bill Mott wanted Alvarado, and it looks like he's going to get Alvarado. So.
Well, that's nice, and that is a great team. That is a productive team, Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado. They have connected with a lot of wins, and that makes sense. If he could have got him, he did. Was Junior on the fence with another horse? Is that the deal?
No, I guess the owners were deciding, but Mott opted for Junior Alvarado, and it looks like that way. Listen, they've had, like you said, unbelievable success. Cody's Wish, Elite Power, all those horses were Mott and Alvarado. So why not keep them aboard?
Yeah, that's a good team. They had a great year last year, that's for sure. And glad to see that Alvarado got that. Most of the jockey assignments are already assigned, really. Maybe 1 or 2 yet out there. Do you think, now, let me ask you this, since you are in contact with the Cox folks there. We do know that Encino's passing the Kentucky Derby. Do you think he'll run him in the Pat Day?
No, I think he's pointing towards the Preakness is what I was led to believe, so...
And that
if he was going to run him in the Pat Day, I guess he could have run him in the Derby, but he's giving him the extra time. He just came out of the last race, and I think, from what I understand, they're pointing towards the Derby, the Preakness.
Now, of course, Endlessly, the horse that won the Jeff Ruby Stakes and has been proficient on synthetic. Mike McCarthy said he's going to send him on the turf. Now, there's a race called the American Turf on the turf course for 3-year-olds, Churchill Downs, either Friday or Saturday. I think it's on Saturday on the undercard.
And it's Derby Day.
Yeah, on Derby Day.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
So I'm sure that's where he's going.
Yeah, I'm sure that he'll be going there. That's for sure. And, of course, the Pat Day, which is at a mile, but it's a 1-turn mile at Churchill Downs. The Pat Day, always a very interesting race for 3-year-olds that just might not be able to make the 1.25 miles in the Derby.
Yeah, don't be surprised if you see Timberlake show up in that race for Cox, because their biggest concern was that he couldn't get the 1.25 miles. So the Pat Day certainly makes sense for them. I mean, they were training like they were going to try to do the Derby, but, after his last race, they figured he'd be a lot better going shorter. And I would assume, I didn't hear anything official, but if it was up to me, I guess I would be pointing for the Pat Day.
Now, the American Turf Classic is going to be on, obviously, Derby Day on the undercard. That's a $600,000 race. But the Kentucky Derby has been bumped up to $5 million. But there's a couple of $1 million races on the undercard. The Churchill Downs Stakes at 7 furlongs for 4-year-olds and up. and the Derby City Distaff for $1 million for 4-year-olds and up fillies and mares at 7 furlongs. And then you got the Old Forester Bourbon Turf Classic, which is another $1 million race on the card. This is for 4-year-olds and up on the turf at a mile and what's a mile and a quarter, mile and a half, something like that. So it's going to be a real interesting day of racing, and we are going to go over all those races between the Thursday shows and, of course, Friday before the main event on Saturday.
All these tracks have made these big days, whether it be Belmont Day or Travers Day or Haskell Day, into mini Breeders' Cup days. They all offer multiple stake races for big purses. They really make it an event. Obviously it hurts the rest of the year, but they just want these big days, and they want to break every handle record and everything else, and that's a good way to do it. When you give the customers something to bet and some big fields, that's all they ask for, and they have an opportunity to make some money. But again, all these tracks just looking to make these mini Breeders' Cup days with all the other stakes on the undercards.
And your thought, is that good or bad?
It's probably good, but maybe you'd be better off spreading it out. But these days have just become so big, and they're on TV. National TV covers them and everything else. So you're going to get a lot of exposure. The problem is, does it affect the races the next 2 months after those races? So for the most part, they probably do, but they have no choice. And I guess this is the right way to do it.
I got to tell you, Jonathan, in looking at the new terrain, the new scope that we have here for horse racing, et cetera, I think it's a good idea because we all really get jazzed up. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, and as we do for the Breeders' Cup, and we will be doing it for the same thing. As soon as the Derby is over, we're going to start talking about, can the Derby winner win the Triple Crown, and what about the Preakness, right, and the dynamic now of Bob Baffert, who couldn't run in the Derby with one of the top horses that would have been in the Derby, Muth, now maybe moving on to the Preakness Stakes. So I think it's a good idea. I know that, in the old days, we used to have one huge stakes race a day on the weekend, and it was a big thing, and it all built up through the day's racing to get to that race. But I got to tell you, with the new dynamic of the sports fan, as they want everything fast, et cetera, with technology and all that, and with the fact that it's more spread out now that you can play it while you're sitting at home on your couch, I think it's a good move. I like it better this way.
Yeah, listen, they're going to be great days. The whole question is, do you really need all these other stake races? People are going to show up to see the Derby anyway. But listen, it's a little of something for everyone. And again, having big fields and great races to bet into, that's what people want. And it may affect, again, the next couple of weekends after that. So business will slow down, but they're going to do so much business on Derby Day that it's got to be good.
Well, with the as far as the business slowing down, the core of race players, people who play the races every day, for the mostly the people that watch this show every day to get what's going on in the day of racing, they're going to be there day in and day out anyhow. We know that. We're there day in and day out. But it gives an opportunity in the competitive world of sports entertainment and sports programming to really give the person that's on the cusp, maybe the person who doesn't understand racing that much, gives them a real big bang for the buck when they do things this way. So I don't mind it at all.
I don't either, Ralph. You're right. Listen, for the hardcore players coming anyway, regardless of what they do to us, we're always come back for more after the Tampa Bay debacle, which we still haven't gotten an answer about.
Oh yeah, that's still a burr under your saddle, isn't it?
It should be under a lot of people's saddle. I got news for you.
Got to tell you that horse that you gave out yesterday. Very seldom do you see a horse go wire to wire on the grass course there at Tampa, but the jock did a good job of making this horse relax early in the race. And then, as you mentioned to me off camera before we got started with the show, it looked like he was going to get beat at the 16th pole, and then he kind of rebroke in the race.
Yeah, he rebroke, and he did a good job. The first quarter was what really saved him. He went very slow the first quarter, and that's really where he won the race early on.
Yeah, no question about that. And breaking from the inside, it made it a lot easier for that. And as far as those pick fives at Keeneland, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you have to be real clairvoyant to get those horses.
Yeah, you think Oaklawn is difficult and Turfway Park is difficult. Well, Keelan showed you we could be just as difficult as those tracks are. And
it's good.
Listen, you get lucky. You get lucky. They're life-changing scores. You get an opportunity like that in a pick five.
It's just good competitive racing there as well. There's no question about that. All right. Well, we got the bankroll going now, so let's get started with some picks.
Okay, well, they have a huge pick six carryover at Keelan, like you said. And I like a horse in the fifth race today, the number 10 horse, Truly Quality. This is a 4-year-old gelding from the Jonathan Thomas barn. This horse has raced at Keelan in the past and actually ran well. It's a 1.5-mile race. He can handle the distance. He's listed at 6-1 on the morning line. I like number 10, True Quality, to win today's fifth race out at Keelan.
Got to tell you, I love the fact that Keeneland's got so many different distances of races. And like today, for example, you've got from 5.5 furlongs on the turf to 1.5 miles on the turf. You got sprints, 6 furlong races on the main track up to 1 mile and 3/16 on the main track. So they really mix it up and give you great handicapping. Certainly, interesting handicapping for, of course, a big pick six, multi-pick six carryover. But it'll be fun to play and watch the races today at Keeneland. And you're going to help us out with the fifth race, which is the second race in the pick six sequence, but it also is the final race in the early pick five and early pick four. So in that fifth race at 1.5 miles on the turf, you like number 10, Truly Quality. Truly Quality with Florent Garreau aboard, the 10 in the fifth race at Keeneland. And certainly an interesting day of racing there. Where else?
Let's go to Gulfstream, look at their eighth and final race, which is 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. And I love the number 2 horse in here, Escape Room. This is a 3-year-old filly from the Jose D'Angelo barn. Cuts back in distance today. She's won sprinting in the past. She's listed at 6-1 on the morning line. Should get a great setup in here. Lionel Reyes aboard to ride for Jose D'Angelo. Number 2, Escape Room, 6-1 on the morning line, wins today's 8th race out at Gulfstream Park.
All right, let's escape the races today at Gulfstream with a winner. In the 8th and final race, number 2, Escape Room. Escape Room, the 2 in the 8th race at Gulfstream, is Jonathan's pick there. Jonathan, after the big meet at Gulfstream over, and now they're getting into the daily mundane racing that goes through the summertime that used to be a Calder Racecourse. Now it's at Gulfstream Park. Quality of racing and competition has gone down a little. How much do you think?
Yeah, even their entire championship meet, to be honest with you, the quality of racing has not been what it's been in the past. I guess people are opting to go to Oaklawn and other tracks. And since Oaklawn extended their meet, I think it hurt Gulfstream personally. But if you have a turf horse, so if you want synthetic, obviously you're going to go to Gulfstream. But generally speaking, they just have a lot of racing there, Ralph. They never take a day off. I mean, they don't take any time off. Yeah, they'll take Monday and Tuesday off or Wednesday, and then they'll resume. But they don't take any extended time off, like take a month off or something. But they don't. They just keep going. Even Santa Anita closes. They go to Los Al and to Delmar. But Gulfstream, it's the only place they have, and they just continuously run year-round.
Yeah.
So obviously the quality is going to decrease somewhere along the line.
Yeah, that is, of course, in the Miami area, of course, Hollandale Beach, Florida. But they also have Tampa Bay that's running at Tampa. But that's a big state, and, I just have 2 tracks there. But look at California. We're getting down to 2 tracks in Southern California there between Santa Anita and Del Mar for major tracks. And, of course, the Northern California Racing Fairs and of course, the short meets they have at Los Alamitos.
And it's going to happen in New York also. As soon as they finish Belmont, they're going to do away with Aqueduct. All we're going to have left here on the East Coast is Saratoga and Belmont for the most part. Yeah, there'll be no more Aqueduct. I mean, but at least New York, you could travel an hour and be at Parks, or travel an hour and a half, you're at Laurel, or a half hour, you're at Meadowlands. So we have plenty of other options. We're safe here, but unfortunately, the West Coast, they're basically on an island all by themselves.
Sign of the times, my man. They are, It was
They are
paring
coming.
down the racetracks, that's for sure. And I believe that technology had a lot to do with it, because now you don't have to travel to those tracks. You can just bet right off of your phone or your internet.
Yeah,
That's for
you don't
sure.
have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Everything is, you can go online and bet any track and you want. They don't care. They're not building racetracks to for people anymore. They're going to be like factories, I guess.
Well, let's keep going with the factories. That's for sure. And you have 3 sheets today: Gulfstream, and of course Keeneland, of course, and an Aqueduct too.
Right, Aqueduct in Cleveland.
All right, and tell them where to get it.
JONHARDOON.com. Thank you, Ralph. Stay safe. Be well. See you tomorrow.
All right, we will talk to you tomorrow, Jonathan. That's for sure. Coming up next is Rich Eng. He's got the latest on the Kentucky Derby Advance racing form that's coming out. He'll give you the latest on that as well. And we'll be right back.
Who is there for heroes or the families left behind when a service member or first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless veterans? And who helps our nation to never forget 9/11? Let me tell you who. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation. The Foundation's Gold Star, Fallen First Responder, Smart Home, and Homeless Veteran programs comprise their In the Line of Duty programs. They're all dedicated to honoring our nation's heroes and their families. The Foundation's Never Forget programs engage people in 9/11 remembrance across America. Over 80 runs, walks, and climbs a year, dozens of golf outings, and the Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute is educating kids in kindergarten through 12th grade to help our nation keep its vow to never forget. More than 95 cents of every dollar you donate to Tunnel to Towers goes to its programs. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas, and we now go to Rich Eng standing by, because Richie, you got the latest on some changes for the daily racing form, Kentucky Derby Advanced Edition.
Yeah, I have an additional information on the Kentucky Derby Advance, which is going to come out Tuesday morning here in Vegas and in Laughlin. It's not only going to have the Kentucky Derby, Ralph. It's going to have the entire card at Churchill Downs for Saturday. So I believe they have 14 races. At least they had 14 last year. So you're going to get the past performances for all 14 races. So if you pick that up on Tuesday morning at your local racebook, Ralph, people can dig into the handicapping and have additional days to study and hopefully zero in on some winners.
Yeah, okay. So it's almost like a complete racing form for that Saturday, but you can get it on Tuesday.
That's correct. Well, one track, Churchill, and there's going to be supporting editorial and handicapping content in the publication, of course. But having 14 races on Tuesday morning when the races are Saturday, I mean, that's a huge advantage for any horse player, and I think it's going to be pretty popular. If you're serious about playing the races on Saturday at Churchill, you got to pick this thing up on Tuesday.
You know what? That is a great idea. The time has come for the really, dedicated horse players and people who really want to get into handicapping because it gives them more time. However, you guys might have opened up a horse player's Pandora box there with that one. We might want it more often than not on big racing days in the future from you guys too. Tell them how to get it if they want to call up and get it mailed to them.
Yeah, for the listeners that are outside of Nevada and still want to pick it up somewhere else in one of the other 49 states, Ralph, they can call my office, Daily Racing Farm Office, Las Vegas. Here's the number, 702-261-9400. I'll say it again, 702-261-9400. You can pre-order it, kind of like you do with the Breeders' Cup Advance in the fall. But either myself or my assistant, Mike, will pick up the phone and take down your order, and we'll get those things mailed out on Tuesday morning. We can use U.S. Postal Service flat rate envelope, which is $9.85, probably most likely 2-day delivery. But a lot of people want a guaranteed delivery. They can use FedEx, and FedEx has options for 1-day, 2-day, and 3-day guaranteed delivery.
All right, and they can make those payments to you once they call up through PayPal, credit card?
We take down a credit card. It's no different than a lot of transactions like this.
Okay.
We'll take the credit card down and run it through the Chase automatic program that I have in the office. But it's really convenient, Ralph. It's very simple,
Sure.
And we'll get that stuff out on Tuesday morning.
All right, now here it is again, folks. In case you guys say, wait a minute, repeat it just one more time. Here's the number, 702-261-9400. Is that right, Rich?
That is correct. That's the Daily Racing Farm Office in Las Vegas.
All right, well, Richie, you had the right idea, but you just got the wrong race yesterday. In the first race, you thought that Steve was going to get a winner for his son, Keith, right away at Keeneland to kind of showcase his son's riding talent. But the horse didn't cooperate. However, they went right back to the same philosophy in the second race, and that horse did cooperate, and that winner paid $21 and change, $21.72 when they won the second race, the father-son team. So you had the right idea, but just the wrong race.
You know, I heard you talking about it earlier in the show, Ralph, and for years you have said correctly that the race day listeners and followers are some of the sharpest horse players in the business. And so you weren't the only one who noticed that and pointed it out to me. I had very sound reasoning for what I was doing, Asmussen, and they had multiple chances at Keeneland yesterday. But I picked the wrong darn race to give out on the radio. You say race 2, $21. And that's a nice horse. That was a homebred for Ron Winchell, who both know, Winchell Thoroughbreds. That is a nice horse with a big future.
I can't believe he paid that price, that's for sure. When after the first race was over, I was perusing around. I said, you know, I just got to throw a $20 bill on this horse just in case. So the philosophy worked out, Richie, and just keep that in mind. Horse players are sharp out there. A lot of people out there might have said, you know what, I'll take one more shot with this Asmussen philosophy here. All right, let's get started. We got another day of racing at Keeneland, a big carryover in the pick 6. What are we doing today?
Let's go to race number 7, Ralph, and it'll be all 7s. It's 7 furlongs in race 7, and I like the 7 horse. Bourbon Heist, 3-1 in the morning line with Irad Ortiz. This horse is a closer, but I like the outside post in the elongated sprint. This horse exits a stakes race at Turfway, so this is actually an easier spot, too, class-wise. So let's go with the 7, Bourbon Heist, race 7 at Keeneland, going 7 furlongs.
Well, you and I both know, having done a lot of time in Kentucky, they like their bourbon. So let's hope that Bourbon Heist gets it done in the 7th race. The 7th race today at Keeneland, part of that pick 6 with that carryover. 7th race, number 7, Bourbon Heist. The 7 with Irad aboard is Rich Eng's play in the 7th race at Keeneland. You can get the rest of his sheet, complete selections at Keeneland right now at racedaylasvegas.com websites. Thanks a lot, Rich. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks. One quick note before I sign out. We picked up a new signal here in Nevada for the simulcasting, but it's a track that you and I are very familiar with.
Yeah.
It's the Old River Downs, which is called now Belterra Park. They got a casino there, but the signal starts today here in Las Vegas, and we'll eventually have it in the racing form starting Friday. Belterra Park is now available here in Nevada.
Yes, and it's Old River Downs, that's for sure. We've made plenty of bets there as well, that's for sure. Thanks a lot, Rich, for that reminder. And we will be right back with John Lendo, so don't go away.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports.
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
Comedy.
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
Yeah.
I am beautiful.
And a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh!
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Join Ryan McCormick.
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Rio.
And host Frank Nicotero.
When I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Oh! Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
Alrighty, time to put finishing touches on this almost Friday, Thursday show, coming to you from the South Point studios here in Las Vegas. I'm going to give you Jerry J's picks right now for Aqueduct. Of course, there's no Southern California racing today. You can get his full Power Page sheet for Aqueduct today at jerryjspowerpage.com. Now, he sent us a pick, but in checking the late scratches at New York at Aqueduct, the horse that he gave us was scratched. So we're not going to give you a scratched horse if we know it ahead of time. And so we're going to give you an alternate play now, and we're going to go to the 7th race in interpreting, try to interpret Jerry's Power Page plays for you. In the 7th race, we're going to give you number 3, City Blocks. Number 3, City Blocks, 6-1 on the morning line in the 7th race. And the link-ups will be numbers 1A, 2, and 5. No late scratches in that race so far. So the 3 over 1A, 2, and 5 in reverse. The 3 is the play in the 7th race. And just an FYI, folks, and in looking at Jerry's Power Page plays, in the last race, he has 2 star horses. So a nice suggestion would be keying this horse in the late double to the 2 star horses. They are numbers 4 and 6. So a kind of a side play for Jerry's notations on his sheet. A late double in the 7th race, 3 with 4-6. So we'll just kind of interpret a little bit there for Jerry. He'll be back on Saturday morning. And now we go out to John Lindo standing by. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. And I got to tell you, it was bombs away yesterday at Keeneland.
It was wild. And I tell you what, you look at this card today, and it's got wild written all over it, too. This could be a good one.
I got a feeling that, remember, it's a 2-day carryover. It's a nice carryover. And by the way, it's a traditional pick 6, framework on that. But remember, if it's not hit today, it goes to tomorrow. And tomorrow is closing day, which means a mandatory payoff. It could be a huge Friday for horse players.
Absolutely. And the pick 6 there is $1 minimum, so it's not an overly expensive wager to take your shot at. And as far as the pick 6 sequence today, Ralph, only 4 late scratches, the most significant in race 7 today. The morning line favorite, number 6, Angkor, is scratched, but otherwise the race is held pretty well together for the pick 6.
Wow, that's a big scratch there. That horse was 9-5 on the morning line with Martin Garcia, who, of course, is a transplant from Northern and Southern California to the Kentucky circuit. He won 2 races yesterday.
Yeah, he had a good day, and he's got some regular clients he rides for, and good to see him doing well. He's a good guy.
Well, we're, of course, talking about Keeneland today, and tomorrow will be closing day. You will have a Lindo report for Keeneland tomorrow, as you have throughout the entire season. And when it overlaps with Santa Anita, which it will tomorrow, you'll have 2 Lindo reports, the regular Southern California one at Santa Anita, and, of course, Keeneland's closing day tomorrow, as well as Keeneland today. And their full Lindo reports covering all the races with selections, a suggested late pick 4, and, of course, all the goodie information at the bottom for the racing there at Keeneland and at Santa Anita. Full, complete Lindo report sheets available only in one place here in your gaming capital. It is here at the South Point Racebook. It is free of charge, exclusively here, complimentary to the horse players, because they love horse players here at the South Point, that's for sure. John, a quick look at, what's coming up this weekend at Santa Anita, how the field sizes.
We got 11 races on Saturday, and I don't know where they came from, but the field sizes are good. So it's a good card on Saturday. We have 9 on Friday, and we go back to Sunday. We will enter today. We'll see how many we have there, but I'm pleasantly surprised at the number of horses for the Saturday card there.
Do you think that's an influx of some horses and some horsemen that are leaving a little bit early from Northern California?
I think a lot of it, Ralph, is just that we had that one weekend off. We took the break between the winter meet and the Hollywood meet, and we got backed up on horses a little bit. So we get the benefits of that this week, after having to sit out a couple of weeks ago.
John, I got a note from someone, and it wasn't verified, so I'm going to ask you, but they said that they thought that the first post time on Saturday at Golden Gate, when they have the San Francisco Mile as their final big stakes race there at Golden Gate, and a race that has a deep history, by the way, that the first post was going to be 245?
That's correct. It's an 8-race card at Golden Gate, and they're trying to line up the back half of the cards with Santa Anita with 11 races and Golden Gate with 8, so they can get that golden hour daily double and the golden hour pick 4 wagers lined up. So they moved the post time back to Golden Gate to line all that up.
All right, so 245 is the first post at Golden Gate on Saturday, of course, with their big race there. That's for sure. Any thoughts about Keeneland before you give us a horse for the day? What are your thoughts about the racing there outside of some of it's unpredictable?
It's just been tough. It really has been tough. I thought Speed did pretty well again on the grass yesterday. We should have good conditions today. Should be fast and firm there. And it's been hard to fall into a rhythm because there has been no real standout go-to angle to go during this meet. But, when the prices are coming in, we're going to take our shots.
And a quick note about weather in Southern California. I know we're going to get a little bit of a sprinkle coming through here late tonight and tomorrow, and then it's going to move out quickly. But that front might be a little bit north of Southern California. Weather okay there for the weekend?
Yeah, we had just a light sprinkle last night. The ground was wet this morning, but it's fine. And I would think if we get anything at all, it'll be minimal, and it probably won't affect anything at all as far as the racing goes, Ralph.
All right, and we're getting down to nitty-gritty at Keeneland. Any closeness in either the jockey or training standings there?
I don't have the numbers from yesterday, but going in, Wesley Ward was the leader in the trainers. He had 10 wins going in. He's got enough ammunition today and tomorrow where I think he'll hold it. And it was a 3-way battle. Gaffaleon was 1 win ahead of Arad Ortiz and 2 ahead of Jose Ortiz going into yesterday's card. So it's up for grabs as far as the jocks go. All 3 of those guys be very busy next couple of days.
And you got to know that Gaffaleon has got to be loaded because he's taking on both of those guys for the final there at Keeneland, that's for sure. Wesley Ward, out of that 10 winners, I guarantee it's got at least half or maybe 6 or 7 might be with the 2-year-olds.
I think it's 5 or 6. I think you're right on the number there. And he's got 2-year-olds in today and tomorrow. So expect that number to go up.
All right, John, let's get a winner today. Your horse was scratched yesterday, so no harm, no foul. And again, when we gave out that pick, the scratches were not in yet as they were today for Aqueduct. And that's why Jerry's horse, his scratch horse, we got an alternate. But we didn't have that opportunity yesterday. So no harm, no foul yesterday.
Yep, let's go to the second race today. This is a 2-year-old race, 5.5 on the grass. And we're going to go a breeding angle here. Number 8, the Toner, by McLean's Music, who won his debut by 5, 6, or 7 lengths, whatever it was, his only start. Out of a mare, Ultimate Shopper, who won her debut by 12 lengths. So this horse is bred top and bottom to be very precocious, bred to handle turf. I like the gate drill I saw in the video for this horse over at Keeneland. You got Joel Rosario on, and you get 20-1 on a horse that should run first time out. So let's take a shot. Number 8, the Toner, race number 2, Keeneland.
Now that's for 2-year-old maidens, and it's going 5.5 furlongs on the turf, which could be the first time they had a turf race this year for 2-year-olds on the turf. And you're going to pick a 20-1 shot with the newly inducted Hall of Famer Joel Rosario aboard. The 8, the Toner, 8 horse in the second race at 20-1. Don't think we're going to get 20-1 though, John.
Well, whatever. You have a Wesley Ward in there, Monterey Bay, number 7, who is 9-5 on the or 6-5 on the program. Might go even a little bit lower. And there are a couple other horses that'll take some money. if we don't get 20-1, I think 10 or 12-1 should be about right. So, there's still value there to take the chance. And they're all trying the grass for the first time, Ralph.
Good enough for me, my man. That's for sure. If we can beat Wesley Ward in a 2-year-old race, we're going to get it. That's for sure. Again, second race, the 8th. Lindo Report for all of Keeneland, available right now here at the South Point Racebook, free of charge. Well, you've got one more thing to say since Jerry isn't here, and you're going to say it.
Have a great race day, everybody.